Hello and welcome back to the Tech Blackboard. In previous videos, I mentioned that I will be doing a bonus part where I will take all of your questions, doubts, suggestions and feedback. And I got a response more than I expected. And due to that, I have to break this bonus video in two parts due to the time limits. Today in this part 12, we will be covering 16 very important questions and I must say they are your questions. The bonus part is truly a video that is entirely based on your questions and suggestion. It's truly my viewers' video. A big shout out to all of those who contributed in making this bonus part with their questions and suggestions. My sincere thanks to Pupa Kevin, Sarah Fontanella, Davosi, Prem Gaikwad, All in One Box Office, and Krishna Chaitanya Reddy. Thank you everyone. For those who are new here today, it's worth mentioning that a total of 150 questions are already covered in earlier 11 parts. Every question is supported by proper Microsoft documentation to elevate your Azure understanding along with your certification scores. So do not forget to subscribe as new exam series are coming soon and you don't want to miss any of them. The link for the entire AZ-900 real exam question and answer series is now appearing in the I button on the top right corner and in the description box below. Friends, you must watch this bonus part very carefully till the very end. Do not skip any part as there are many new tips and tricks throughout this video. Additionally, I have shared new Microsoft documentation and links from the other website that will not only help you getting good marks but also help you throughout your cloud journey. Before I start, it's very important to understand the numbering convention that I have used in this bonus part. Please make a note that in order to maintain the continuity with our previous parts, I have continued to number the question starting from question number 151. We have already covered 150 questions in our previous parts. As this bonus part is linked to the previous parts in this series and there are some new questions as well based on your suggestion, thus each question has an extra tag that you can see here. So if the question is connected to the previous question in any part, then it will contain a previous question number and it will also contain the part in which it was published. Now in case the question is entirely new, then it will contain a new tag here. I hope you understood the numbering convention and what all these new tags mean. So let's begin our bonus part. On this slide, I will cover a set of 4 questions. The idea is to show you variations that can come in AZ-900 exam related to the PaaS or Platform as a Service offering. You can expect similar questions on IaaS or Infrastructure as a Service or SaaS, Software as a Service. So let's begin our bonus question and answer session part 12 with question number 151. The question says that your company plans to migrate all its data and resources to Azure. The company's migration plan states that only Platform as a Service solution must be used in Azure. You need to deploy an Azure environment that meets the company's migration plan. What should you create? Should you use Azure Virtual Machines, Azure SQL Database, and Azure Storage Account? Or an Azure App Service and Azure Virtual Machine that have Microsoft SQL Server installed? The third option could be an Azure App Service and Azure SQL Database. And the fourth one is Azure Storage Account and Web Server in Azure Virtual Machine. The correct answer for this question is an Azure App Service and Azure SQL Database. Now you might ask why I have not chosen the other 3 options. The very simple answer to that question is that each of these options A, B and D, they have virtual machines in them. So we have virtual machines here in option A, then we have virtual machine here in option B, and we have virtual machine here in option D as well. Now you must keep in mind that virtual machine comes under the category of infrastructure as a service. Whenever you're answering these questions, then you have to consider all the options or all the Azure services as one solution. So you have Azure Virtual Machine here, you have Azure SQL Database, and you have Azure Storage Account. Now, though Azure SQL Database and Azure Storage Account comes into the category of PaaS or Platform as a Service, however, Azure Virtual Machine does not fit in PaaS offering. And that's the reason why I have eliminated the other three options. Now let's look at the other three variations that you can expect in AZ-900 exam for the same question. The second variation is given in question number 152. The third variation is given in 153 and the fourth variation is given in 154. Now please notice that the question given in all these four variations are exactly the same. However, the solutions given are little different. So for example, in 152 it says that you create an Azure App Service and Azure SQL Database. So does this fit under the category of Platform as a Service? We just saw in question number 151 that when we are using only Azure App Service and Azure SQL Database, that surely fits under the category of Platform as a Service. Thus, the answer to question number 152 is yes. Then we have question 153, and in this one, the solution is that you create an Azure App Service, Azure Virtual Machine that has Microsoft SQL Server installed. Whenever there is Azure Virtual Machine given in the question, then it's always infrastructure as a service. So the correct answer for this question is no, it doesn't fit under the category of Platform as a Service. Now we have question number 154, and in this one again they have given that you create an Azure Virtual Machine and Azure Storage Account. Although Storage Account comes into the category of PaaS, however, the virtual machine does not fit in PaaS offering. The correct answer for this question is no. Now there was a query from one of our viewers and he mentioned that even if Azure Storage Account comes under the category of PaaS, why I have not chosen to answer it as a yes. I already mentioned that whenever answering these questions, you have to take all the Azure services in account and count it as a solution, an overall solution. So in this one, we have two components. We have Azure Virtual Machine and we have Storage Account. Though Storage Account comes under the category of PaaS, but Azure Virtual Machine comes under the category of IaaS or Infrastructure as a Service. Thus, the entire solution will not fit under the category of Platform as a Service. I hope this answers to your question. And to all my viewers, I really understand that this can be really tricky to answer these kind of questions because it's hard to remember each Azure service and what category it falls under. Is it under the category of PaaS or IaaS or SaaS service? So to ease out your life, I have bought two links that you can refer to and they will help you a lot in recognizing the Azure services and the category they fall under. The first documentation that I have gotten for you is from Microsoft itself, and this is the page where they have listed all Azure products. You can see the categories here, and if you will select one of the categories, so let's select the Azure database, and if you will come to the database, then you can see that Azure SQL database is given here. So whenever you want to learn more about Azure service, then you can come back to this page and you can check out each Microsoft Azure service and which category they come under. Then a second great site that I have bought for you is this one, and this one is Azurecharts.com. It's a brilliant site and it gives you a very neat mechanism of categorizing the service under PaaS or IaaS or SaaS offering. Let me show you how. So this is the home page where you can see all the services are listed, and if you will go to this drop down here, you can see that you can now choose which category you want to see services from. So let's choose PaaS category. And now you can see that all the services are filtered out and only the services related to PaaS are shown. So now if you will see this SQL database, the Azure SQL database comes into the category of PaaS. And if you will select IaaS, and now you can see the virtual machine comes under the category of infrastructure as a service. I hope that those two new links will surely help you categorizing Microsoft Azure services in right category. I hope, my friends, that you have noticed that these questions are related to the questions from earlier parts. So all of these questions are tagged with the question number and the part number they are attached or linked to. So if you want more details on these questions, then you can refer to the question number and the part number and watch that video again. Now let's move to question number 155. The question says that an Azure administrator plans to run PowerShell script that creates Azure resources. You need to recommend which computer configuration to use to run the script. The solution is run the script from a computer that runs Mac OS and has PowerShell Core 6.0 installed. Does this meet the goal? Now, the reason for picking this question in the bonus part is that this question was answered wrongly in our question number 30th in part 3 as yes. However, the correct answer for this question is no. My sincere apologies for that, and a big thanks to the viewers who pointed out this mistake. Now let's see the other variation of the same question and try to find out the correct answer. So here we are on the question number 156. The question is same. However, the solution is that run the script from a computer that runs Mac OS and has PowerShell 7.0.6 LTS, PowerShell 7.1.3 or higher installed. Does this meet the goal? Now the correct answer is yes, this meets the goal. Now let me show you the Microsoft documentation to confirm our answers. So here we are on the Microsoft documentation that talks more about installing the Azure AZ PowerShell module. You can read this page more in detail. However, the most important section that I want to highlight is this one, which says that Azure PowerShell has no additional requirement when run on PowerShell 7.0.6 LTS and PowerShell 7.1.3 or higher. And that exactly justifies the answer given for question number 155 and question number 156. I hope you have noticed that 156 is a new question. That's why it's tagged as new. Now let's move to the question number 157. This one says that which Azure service should you use to collect events from multiple resources into a centralized repository? The correct answer for this question is Azure Event Hubs. The reason for picking this question is that one of our viewers was confused why I have not picked Azure Monitor. Now let me take you to the Microsoft site to answer this question better. So here I am on the Microsoft Azure site, which talks more about Azure Event Hub. Now, as you can read, it says that a big data streaming platform and event ingestion service. Now, if you remember the question, it asked us to tell a service that can collect events from different sources or Azure services. Now we can see that Azure Event Hub, if you come down a little here, then here it says that Event Hub represents the front door of an event pipeline, often called as event ingester in solution architectures. So I hope you are understanding what an Event Hub is. So Event Hub is a service which enables you to ingest a lot of telemetry from the other Azure services. You can read more about Azure Event Hubs on this Microsoft page. All the links that I'm using in this presentation will be shared in description box below. Now coming to question number 158, and this says that you have a virtual machine named as VM1 that runs on Windows Server 2016. VM1 is in East US Azure region. Which Azure service should you use from Azure portal to view service failure notification that can affect availability of VM1? The options are Azure Service Fabric, Azure Monitor, Azure Virtual Machines, or Azure Advisor. The correct answer for this question is Azure Monitor. The reason for picking Azure Monitor as an answer is that Azure Monitor helps you maximize availability and performance of your application and services. It delivers a comprehensive solution for collecting, analyzing, acting on telemetry from your cloud and on-premises environment. And you can read more about Azure Monitor capabilities on this page, and I really recommend you to watch this video here to fully understand what are the capabilities that Azure Monitor offers you. Now let's jump to the question number 159. The question says that your company's developer intend to deploy a large number of custom virtual machines on a weekly basis. They will also be removing these virtual machines during the same week it was deployed. 60% of the virtual machines have Windows Server 2016 installed, while the other 40% has Ubuntu Linux installed. You are required to make sure that the administrative effort needed for this process is reduced by employing a suitable Azure service. The solution given here is you recommend the use of Microsoft Managed Desktop. Does this meet the goal? The correct answer for this question is no. Now the reason for picking this question for our bonus part is that one of our viewer asked that the presence of Ubuntu Linux in the question has made us decide not to choose Microsoft Managed Desktop as an answer. On this, I want to tell you that the real ask of the question is to get an ability so that you can deploy large number of virtual machines on weekly basis and then also remove this virtual machine during the same week. So you're deploying virtual machines and removing them on a very rapid pace. And the other key focus area is that you want to reduce the administrative effort needed for this process. So this is the real ask of the question. However, there can be additional, or I would say distractive parts as well in the question. For example, Microsoft Windows Server here or Ubuntu here. So do not get distracted by these additional points in the question. Now to add a little more detail on Microsoft Managed Desktop, you can visualize Microsoft Managed Desktop as a virtual laptop. However, it is managed by Microsoft. So you get to do all what you do on your normal laptop, but this laptop, or so to say virtual laptop, is managed by Microsoft. You can read more about Microsoft Managed Desktop. I will share the links in the description box, or you can also refer to the question number 25 in part 2 for more details on Microsoft Managed Desktop. Now let's look at other two variations in question number 160 and question number 161 of the same question. In question number 160, the solution given is that you recommend the use of Azure Reserved Virtual Machine. Does this solution meet the goal? Now you must understand that Azure Virtual Machine, as the name also suggests, that you reserve a virtual machine for a larger horizon of time, for example 1 year or 3 years. And because of this upfront reservation, Microsoft gives you a huge discount in billing. You can save as much as 72% on your cost as compared to the virtual machine in pay-as-you-go pricing model. However, Azure Reserved Virtual Machine has nothing to do in deploying large number of custom virtual machines on a quick base. Thus, the correct answer for this question is no. Then we have question number 161, and now we have an option which says that you recommend the use of Azure Dev Test Labs. The correct answer for this question is yes. So Azure Dev Test Lab gives you an ability where you can deploy a large number of custom virtual machines on a very quick base. And that's the reason I have chosen a yes for this question. You can refer question number 2 in part 1 for more details on Azure Dev Test Lab. Now let's move to the question number 162. The question says that your developer have created 10 web applications that must be hosted on Azure. You need to determine which Azure web tier plan to host the web apps. The web tier plan must meet the following requirement. The first requirement is that web apps will use custom domains. The web apps each require 10 GB of storage. The web app must each run in dedicated compute instances. Load balancing between instances must be included, and then we have cost must be minimized. Which web tier plan should you use? Should you use basic or developer or free, or should you use standard? The correct answer for this question is standard, as that's the only web tier plan that best suit all these requirements. The reason for picking this question in our bonus part is to highlight that the base for picking standard as an answer is not only the 10 GB of storage requirement for each web app, but also to highlight that the maximum number of instances for the basic plan is 3. However, our requirement is of 10 instances. And that's also a reason for picking standard as an answer. And I thank to the viewer who contributed this additional input, and hopefully it adds to the overall understanding of all the viewers. In case you want more details on different web tier plans, then refer to the question number 5 in part 1, where I have compared all these web tier plans in quite some detail. Moving on, we have question number 163. This one says a hybrid cloud is a part of public cloud. The correct answer for this question is yes. And the reason for picking this question for the bonus part is that one of viewer highlighted that he got the same question in his AZ-900 exam certification. And he was interested to know the correct answer for this question. And that's why this question is tagged as new. And I have mentioned this many times that hybrid cloud is a combination of public cloud and private cloud. Thus, definitely hybrid cloud is a part of public cloud. Also, in our previous 11 parts, we have covered a lot of variations of this question. So let me bring them as well so that we have full coverage of all the variations. So we have question number 164, and in this question it says an organization that hosts its infrastructure dash no longer requires data center. So you have to choose between private cloud, hybrid cloud, public cloud, or Hyper-V host. And we all know now that the correct answer for this question is public cloud. Because in private cloud, of course, the organizations have their own data center. In hybrid cloud, as I already mentioned, that it's a combination of public cloud and private cloud. And of course, Hyper-V is not related to any of the cloud model. Thus, the correct answer is public cloud. Then we have question number 165, and this says that in which type of cloud model are all hardware resources owned by third party and shared between multiple tenants? The correct answer for this question is also public cloud. So now let's move to the question number 166, which will be the last question for our part 12 bonus Q&A session. However, there will be one more part 13 where I have covered more of your doubts and questions. So let's move to the question number 166. It says that to which cloud models can you deploy physical servers? Is it public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and public cloud? Or is it hybrid cloud only? Or is it private cloud and hybrid cloud? Now pay attention that the question is asking that in which cloud model can you deploy your physical server? It can also ask that in which cloud model can you have your own data center? So Microsoft can really tweak the language in the questions, so be very careful whenever you are reading the question. Coming to the question, the correct answer for this one is private cloud and hybrid cloud. In both these cloud models, you can deploy your own physical servers.
If this video has added any value in your learning, a like and subscribe is highly appreciated. Share this video in your family and friends to spread and expand their learning. Your comments and feedback give me a chance to interact with you, and I look forward for them. We will meet again in our next video. Till then, stay fit, keep learning, and thanks for watching.